Hey there, kids. It's a Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time now for supernatural news here on the best in paranormal podcasting, Darkness Radio. I'm Tim Dennis, and with me is that cute and cuddly, lovable, I actually got that in an email. It not only to mention the best underwater needle pointer in the galaxy, Beer City Bruiser. How you doing, Bruiser?
I'm good. Cute and cuddly. You got that in an email?
I did, in a correspondence. I shouldn't say email. It was actually sent to me on the Insta. Somebody got a hold of me on Instagram. I could try and find it real quick if you'd like, but
I've been called many things, and cute and cuddly is not. Well, I've been called that before, but
I said cute and cuddly from a guy who says it's mouth punching time, and she said, "Yeah, he's kind of cute, he's kind of cuddly," and I was like, "Really?"
Well, thank you for whoever said that. I will continue to try to be cute and cuddly on the show.
I'm not gonna bust this young lady out, but
you don't have to.
But yeah, she was like, "Yeah, he's cute and cuddly." So I'm like, I guess it's that sensitive side of you with the hook one, pearl two that gets the ladies swooning.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been out of the game for so long. I don't know how to swoon women.
You don't know. It's evidently it's not a Yingling and a wink. Evidently,
well, I picked up my wife with a natty light and hey, let's go back to my place.
That's what did it, huh?
That was it.
Wink.
She said, "Hold on, I got to talk to this other guy first."
Wow.
Said, no. Yeah,
That was it, huh?
Oh, I throw it at her all the time.
I got to talk to this other guy first. That really lets you know where you stand, huh? And that sounds like
up and go, "Hey, I'm cute and cuddly."
That's right.
The public has spoken.
You better watch it there, lady. I'm cute and cuddly. I've got fans now. I got groupies. No,
no, let's not say that.
No. Yeah, that'll get you in trouble.
But you know what? It'll help sell some of my T-shirts because I have a lot of bear T-shirts.
That's
Bears
true.
Are cute, cuddly.
Well, that could get you other fans as well.
Well, which I have, and I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too. I did have a certain young man hit me up a couple of weeks ago, and I dealt with it very, very nicely. I said, if I were on that side of the fence, hey, you're a very good looking young man.
Yep.
But unfortunately, I'm not that way. But I didn't say that way. But I'm not on that side of the sexuality pendulum. But I could always use another friend.
Yeah. And I love and respect all my fans, and I've gotten reached out by a couple of them. And if it's appropriate, like there isn't an appropriate way to approach somebody with that, but all the ones I've gotten have been real respectful, real appropriate. Yeah. I always send them to my T-shirt store, and they always pick up I have like 3 bear shirts on there. So
there you go. Yeah, you know what I say, and this is my deal, Bruiser. Hey, if you're looking at me and you think I'm attractive, at least somebody thinks I'm attractive. That's what I say.
Exactly.
I don't care who you are, man, woman, animal, vegetable, or mineral. If you think I'm attractive, hey, we can get along.
Yep. Like, cool, thank you.
That's right. At least somebody thinks I'm attractive, by God.
I do like the cute and cuddly. I'm going to be saying that for the rest of the day. I am cute and cuddly.
I am cute and cuddly, like a Charmin bear.
Well, thank you to whoever said that. I appreciate it, and it does brighten my day to hear stuff like that.
There you go. Speaking of mouth punching time, I take it you watched the Oscars?
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
I did. I haven't watched them in 10 years, and for some reason, we turned it on, and it's like, okay, well, this is pretty good. And then it happened, which we're going to talk about.
We are, and I want to get your expert opinion here, because here's the deal. And here's how it relates to the paranormal. I'm going to throw this into what does this have to do with the paranormal thing? And here's what it has to do with underwater needlepoint, by the way. So I'm going to tie this all in a neat little bow for you guys, and I'm going to try to do it in just a couple of minutes. And for those who don't want to hear it, just fast forward a couple of minutes. Here's the deal. So I'm sitting there watching The Walking Dead. I'm not watching the Oscars. I have really not a lot of interest in the Oscars. I mean, I'll peruse through who won the next day, or I'll watch clips on social media.
That's what I used to do back in the day. Yep.
Yeah, or I'll go through a BuzzFeed article and just see who won.
Yeah, you can find out the highlights.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to know everything. But when it starts hitting my phone in different notifications that, oh, you know what? Will Smith took a shot at Chris Rock after a joke, that aimed at Jada Pinkett. I went, oh, and he's about to get up and accept an award, or he's still in the running for Best Actor, and that's coming up next. Well, you know what? Walking Dead was over. Talking Dead with Chris Jericho was on, but it was just getting over, and it got over right in time for Best Actor to be drawn, or the winner to be announced. So right. I flipped over to the Oscars, and that's why the ratings were so high.
Yeah,
because Best Actor hadn't been drawn yet before 10 o'clock.
Right.
So I flip over, and that's 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. So everybody's got can flip over at that point. So we've all seen the video online because it's all hit our phones, right?
Yep.
So we're like, oh, snap. We need to see who's going to win Best Actor, and is Chris Rock going to present it? So we all go over to the Oscars, right? Well, there's no Chris Rock to present the Best Actor. That was kind of disappointing. But lo and behold, Will Smith wins Best Actor.
Yep.
Okay, awkward speech coming up. He doesn't apologize to Chris Rock, but apologizes to everybody else. Okay, so This is awkward as well. So as I'm watching this video of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, I notice a couple of things.
Okay.
And I'm sure you did too. And I'm going to go over this for a second. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to preface it with this. There's a comedian here who lives in town. His name is Mike Brody. He's also had some stuff to do in the paranormal. And he's a huge, I believe he's done some paranormal investigating. He's huge in the paranormal world. He is a comedian. He's a well-known comedian. And he looks at it from a comedian's side, which I get. Mm-hmm. I look at it as a guy who's worked a little in the business as a ring announcer, but also has been backstage. Okay. Mm-hmm. I look at it from a worker's point of view.
Okay.
And there's even a meme out there that you can see.
The Dutch Mantel meme.
Right.
Where he breaks it down. Yep.
Where he breaks it down.
Yep.
From a worker's point of view. And Dutch has more skin in this game than anybody else. And he points it out perfectly.
Yep.
And that's this. Chris Rock is standing there looking straight at Will Smith right before he goes to slap him. And if you notice, Will Smith pulls his elbow in. He flails his hand out to the side. So he's pulled his arm in. So he's pulled the power of his punch or slap out. Mm-hmm. Because everybody knows if you're going to pimp slap a man, you put a little powder in your hand first, right?
Yes.
And then you reach up like you're going to testify to God.
Yep.
And you come down with the power of God himself, and you throw your hand like you're throwing the winning pitch in the 9th inning of the World Series, and you touch the floor. Bam. Right?
Yep.
And you give that slap, and you hit that man square in the jaw. Right? Right across the cheek, square in the jaw. If you really want to hurt him, you get him across the ear, bust his eardrum. Right?
Oh, exactly, yes. I've been slapped in the ear numerous times, and I wasn't supposed to be, but I have been.
Right, and that's how you do it. That's a pimp slap. That's how you let a man know. That's I challenge you to a duel, or you're going to die type of pimp slap. Right?
Yep.
Will did far from that. In fact, if you watch it or you slow it down, he pulled that slap and barely got him across the chin and neck area. Uh-huh. Which, when you're working a working slap, that's where you hit a guy.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And he barely grazes him enough to make a sound.
Right.
At that point, if you notice, Chris Rock sticks his chin out, is looking exactly right into Will Smith's eyes, has his feet spread shoulder width apart, he's braced, and he has his hands behind his back. Mm-hmm. You mean to tell me he didn't see that coming?
See, so I'm going to throw a wrench in your theory and Dutch Mantel's, because I watched it live when it happened.
Okay.
And when it first happened, I was like, wait, did he really? And it was one of those, did he really just hit him? Like, what just happened here? And then it started coming out, that it was planned to get people to tune in and all this stuff. Well, here's what I say. Will Smith and Chris Rock have known each other for years. So they're friends.
Yep.
If I'm joking around with my friends, I see one of my friends get up, I'm expecting a playful something,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to stand the way Chris Rock stood. Now, if I'm Will Smith and the best of me gets to where I'm going to get up and slap this guy, as I'm walking up, it has to dawn on me, I'm on national television about to assault a man. If I do the hand to God slap and he goes down, that's charges. I could be arrested.
You could, but here's the thing. What are they going to do to the guy who's nominated for Best Actor later in the night? They're not going to take him out of there.
No, but they will wait. And he's, everyone can say, well, he's the elite. He's 1%ers and he's not going to get arrested and all that, which is true. But in my mind, I was thinking, I think he pulled it at the last minute because he didn't want to get in trouble with the law. And I don't know how Chris Rock is as a person. I don't know. I mean, obviously he's taken punches before because he's that type of comedian.
Yeah.
But I think Will held back for two reasons. One, I don't think he wanted to catch charges. And two, I think it was because Chris Rock is still a friend of his.
Oh, most definitely.
You know what I mean? So do I think it was a work? I don't think it was planned by I don't think the Academy walked up to them and said to do this.
No.
But I think Will was like, I need to stand up for my wife. I'm going to do this. He's a friend of mine, so I'll make it look good. And then the backlash or the fallout is everybody tunes in now because you're trending, and it's good to be trending, good or bad.
I don't think
and I don't think Chris knew it was coming either. I think Chris put his hands behind his back to show, hey, I'm not going to do anything. And I think he leaned into it because he's been hit enough times.
Right.
If you lean into a punch or you lean in and you grit your teeth, it's not as much damage.
Right. You're right about that.
I don't think it was planned,
Right.
The other thing everyone's talking about is why did Will do this when his wife cheated on him and all that? And, he's still a husband. And he even said he's going through a lot of personal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That personal stuff, he's working stuff out with his wife. If someone insults your wife, you're still going to defend them. Would I have done it publicly on national TV? No, I would have gone because we're both going to the same place backstage.
Right.
We're going to the after party. That's where I'm going to beat him up.
Well, and after that, I think the emotion, the moment is gone. So at that point, no one's there to see it. And here's the thing, and I'm going to build on your point there, and I'm going to use another analogy. You could tell Will halfway through his stride upstage. It was a little bit like the third best goal scorer on a NHL hockey team in an NHL shootout who gets picked to handle the puck and try to score in overtime.
Yeah.
He started off strong, but halfway up the ice, he loses the puck, because you could tell the stride changed.
Oh, yeah.
He went from confidently going to easing up, like, oh, okay, I'm up here now. Am I going to raise my hand to God and smack the you-know-what out of him, or am I going to hold back? So, yeah,
and
you're right.
Too, if you're trying to damage somebody, you're not slapping. That would be a closed fist.
Right. It'd be a Tyson knockout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right.
I think his intentional purposes were, but like I said, as he's walking up, he's realizing, oh, I'm on national television. And Denzel was yelling at him the whole time. If you listen, Denzel's yelling at him as he's walking up to sit back down.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it got through or what,
Yeah, and he should have.
Yeah.
He should have just, but see, and you know what? There's a really good article by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar out there that breaks it down all perfectly. That said that Will didn't need to get up. He didn't need to yell anything from his seat. Jada was not defenseless. She could have said something afterwards backstage. She was not a damsel in distress. There was nothing about the scenario that needed to happen.
Oh, I agree.
And that it enhances African-American stereotypes, which it shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
And in that, I just thought it was it was a horrible scenario all the way around. You put people in a position. Now you've put the Academy in a position to say, well, do we now have to come down on somebody that really should we come down on somebody? Because you've got people out there who are split. You've got, Tiffany Haddish said, well, I thought it was a great demonstration of a man's love for his wife. I think he was trapped at that point because his wife was outwardly bothered by the comment.
Right.
He's in a vulnerable position, as you said, with his marriage.
Yeah.
And if he didn't make an outward show, in his opinion, if he didn't make an outward show at that point, he's letting her down. And he's at a point where he's already left, or he feels like he's let himself down.
Right.
In his marriage. So he's got to save face for himself. That's all that was. He was saving face for himself.
That was 100% him just, and there's, like you said, it's split down the middle. There's husbands out there, oh yeah, you insult my wife, I'm doing that. There's husbands out there saying, you insult my wife, wait till the after party. You know what I mean? I think everything that Will's been under pressure for just boiled up at that one moment, and that look from Jada was it. Like I'm gonna do something. I have all this pent up, and then as he's marching up, like you said, you see his stride change. I think he's like, okay, what am I gonna do when I get up here?
So Mike Brody brought it from this perspective, which I can see this too. Comedians around the country right now are scared because comedy is an art. That's all it is. You're taking pain, you're taking other factors and you're rolling it in and you're making comedy out of it.
Yeah.
But in this case, he was doing, Chris Rock is doing a rolling bit where he's just taking nominees and he's taking one fault or another or embarrassment, or he's taking little bits of pain and he's rolling it up into a joke.
Yeah.
But the idea is to go from one nominee to another, bing, 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 bing down the line, and just keep going. And they're throwaway jokes is all it is. Now, Chris may or may not have been familiar with the fact that Jada had alopecia.
Right.
I don't think he was.
See, I don't think so either, because then I don't think he would have gone that route.
Right. He would have stayed away.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that he did have a movie out there called Good Hair, and he tackled alopecia in that movie.
Right.
With that being said, put that aside. There were better ways to handle it. Much better ways to handle it. So Mike is talking about, well, I really think that Will Smith is out of line, which I agree with. He was out of line. But now that can't set up any trend. And I agree that can't set up a trend of people who decide all of a sudden it's okay if you don't like something that a comedian says, that you just go up and you attack.
Right.
I think the barrier is set. I think, if you go to a comedy club, if you go to a wrestling match, if you go to a concert, a music concert, you just don't bum rush the stage if you don't like something, because there's going to be somebody there to meet you.
Everyone has to understand too, it's entertainment. Comedy is an entertainment, and comedy is also what you take of it. What something you might find funny, I might not find funny. For instance, I'm a big fan of Seinfeld. My wife is not a fan of Seinfeld. So we have to realize that when we're going to these comedy clubs or these concerts or these wrestling matches or whatever, you're going to be entertained. That comedian's going to tap into what's going on in the world today to try and find humor in something.
Yeah.
There's a really good documentary that came out right after 9/11, and it said, how do we get comedy back? Because 9/11 is such a touchy subject, especially right after. Comedians didn't know where the line was. And it kind of happened again too with the pandemic and the Me Too movement and all that. You always hear like these comedians like, how far do we go and all that? People have to realize, if you don't like someone's comedy, don't go to that show. So if you know this person's comedy, which Chris Rock is, he's insult comedy. He's like a Don Rickles.
Yeah.
You didn't go to a Don Rickles show and not expect to get made fun of, and I'm dating myself there.
No, but you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And speaking of 9/11 comedy, you don't go watch Pete Davidson. I mean, his dad died in 9/11, but he steps right over the line and goes completely over it.
Exactly.
His dad died in 9/11.
And Will, hindsight's 2020, so we can say Will handled it right. He handled it wrong. It doesn't matter. But it should have been something like a conversation where either Chris found out, hey, is Jada sensitive to this? Or afterwards, Will should have said something like, hey, man, that's a very sensitive subject in our house. You owe her an apology.
Well, better yet, he never even gave Chris the opportunity to apologize publicly.
Correct.
He took that ability away from Chris to do that.
Yeah.
Which most comedians are pretty good about if they know they've offended someone.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. And I think Chris would have done that.
I think so too.
Had it not been taken away from him.
Because that's where the factors in. They've been friends for how long?
Yeah, exactly.
We all have friends. We all joke around. Sometimes our jokes go too far. We all, not one person in this world can't say that. You have your certain group of friends you hang out with, and something goes a little too far and you offend somebody. So you have to say, hey, I'm sorry that, my intentions were not to offend you.
Yeah. So,
it was like you said too, Chris didn't start with Jada. He was going around the room.
Right.
And
boom,
he was, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And Will was enjoying every single one.
Yep. And he was picking off, multiple people. So it to me, you have to put it in the moment and just assume from there. I actually still have the article up from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and it was published. It was published on a blog. It was kareem.substack.com. But interesting stuff. It was just interesting stuff. And corresponding with Mike Brody, I appreciate the back and forth, because from a comedian standpoint, he was appalled. He was appalled at the fact that somebody would go up there and smack an entertainer in the middle of a bit.
Yeah, that we have a rule in the ring. If someone gets in the ring that's not supposed to be in the ring, we're going to defend ourselves. We're going to punch. We're going to kick. We're going to do what we can, because we don't know. I've seen people argue about me with this, but I always tell people, if a fan jumps over the guardrail or a fan gets on the stage, you as a performer don't know what their intentions are. Do they have a weapon? Are they here to hurt you? You don't know that. Mm-hmm. So you have to react accordingly. Look what happened to like a Dimebag Darrell. That guy got on the stage with a shotgun and shot him, you know?
Yeah.
So fans nowadays need to keep that in mind, that if you try to do what Will Smith did, you got to remember, one, Will and Chris have known each other for years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Two, they're in a public setting where there's no chance there's going to be weapons. Like, Will's not going to bring a weapon up to hurt Chris.
Right.
So if you're at a comedy show and this comedian's making these jokes, and you get up on stage, you could get hurt,
Right.
Also, too, comedians also need to realize, too, if Chris knew about her situation, you don't joke about disabilities or diseases. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that situation. And that's why I don't think Chris knew she had alopecia. I don't think he did.
No, I don't either.
It's definitely a learning moment for everybody as a society.
Yeah.
And I hope people that hear us don't go after the performers. you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where I think we, after this week we move on and we're good. It's between those three at that point, and that's it. I mean, they have an interesting sideshow going on over there with Will and Jada, and they have for quite a few years. But it's one of those things where I think, as an American public, we get to take a look at it and then we can walk away. They can't. That's their life.
That's their life. That's the other thing people forget about celebrities too, is they have real lives outside of their public image. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I think Will just reached a boiling point with everything going on in his life. I mean, because it wasn't like it was a private conversation between him and Jada when he found out about the affair. You know, she said it on public TV, you know, in a public forum.
Yeah. And I almost wondered too, because of all the public stuff that's been going on, if that pressure cooker wasn't a little higher than it needed to be.
And it usually is. From being in a public eye, I know the pressure that goes into that, because you have to act a certain way when you're in the public eye, because especially nowadays, because cancel culture and all that stuff, like you don't want to say the wrong thing to offend the you know what I mean? Like when I do my autograph signings and stuff, I try to be as very generic as possible. I'm the Beer City Bruiser, obviously, but I try to, you know, because I don't want to offend anybody, because it's, you know, but that's the society we live in nowadays. It's not like it used to be.
So no more
20 years ago.
No more signing boobs for you? Is that what you're saying?
I don't. And then when I take pictures, I have my hands out to the side, and so you can see all my fingers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I won't sign skin anymore. You know, just because you don't know. You don't know in today's climate.
No, it's true. It's true. Speaking of famous people, we did eulogize Scott Hall on a past program, and I got kind of a cool email, and I forwarded it to Bruiser. And
I have to say, before you read this email, it made my day because of the impact that Scott had on my career. And then to get this, what you're about to read, Tim, I was grinning ear to ear the rest of the day because of this email.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. We'll tell you who it's from here in a second. It just starts out, "Hey, Tim and BCB." He said, "Dang, I always wanted to write Tim and Dave, but didn't email you fast enough. Love the interplay when someone listed you first." Well, you just listed me first, but that's okay. A long-time listener, it's put in there, and one of the apparently few that doesn't mind when you throw in a little underwater crochet references. Oh, needlepoint, but I won't pick. I always wanted to try to get my brother to talk about some of the weird experiences he may have experienced on the road, but didn't get a chance, which is too bad. You just dedicated a show to him, which means I was too late to get him talking and to then hook him up with someone like Darkness Radio, which I think we would have passed out if that would have happened.
Yes, we would have.
Or Last Podcast on the Left, which we wish you wouldn't have taken him over there. Who, no offense to the guys over there, who also like a little wrestling. We know they do too. Thanks for both of your kind words about Scott. The outpouring of kind thoughts and good words means a lot. We are also thankful that his last memories will be positive. For a while there, it could have been a little sketchy, he says. We still have a lot of family to support each other, and a lot of the guys from the biz who are considered family, no matter how much time we actually spent with them, some more often than others. If you were family to Scott, you were in. Once you're in, you don't get out. Trust me, we have several exes still hanging around, LOL. So in time, we'll all be good and just talk about all the good times. You were right. Scott was cool with the big capital letters, even if he didn't believe it. I had the coolest big brother growing up who took me from listening to the Beatles, etc. when I was 4 to Sabbath, Alice Cooper, etc. by the time I was 7. So yeah, my brother was cool AF. And yes, he was. Each year since he moved to Atlanta, I at least saw him once a year when I go down for my annual Prague Power USA Festival, best metal festival in the USA, if you haven't been, which we haven't, but we'd love to check it out. But now it looks like his son Cody, who was also a wrestler and maybe getting back into it, is going to move down here, so the tradition will continue. Thanks again for your kind words. Keep up the great work. All the best, Jeff Hall.
Yeah, that blew my mind when we got that. And Jeff, thank you. And Cody did make his return. I was on a show with Cody on Saturday, and he is moving to Atlanta. He confirmed that because I spoke to him a little bit about the email that Jeff wrote us. And Cody was shocked too to hear that, you know, I'm into the paranormal. And he's like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." And we were talking about paranormal stuff for a little bit, but Cody was an absolutely outstanding person And from this email, it sounds like Jeff's a great guy too. So thank you, Jeff. That means the world to me, who looked up to Scott so much. To hear that what you and I did, at least the family appreciates.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. That was that really did make both our days. We really do appreciate you listening, and we appreciate the fact that that you took the time to write that. Let's jump into some stories, shall we, before we go to break? Because, by gosh, we should probably do that. We got a lot of ground to cover, my friend. By the way, did you enjoy the strong solar storm? That's hard to say 10 times fast. The strong solar storm that hit Earth yesterday?
There was a strong solar storm, and I missed it?
Yeah. Sparkling, dazzling auroras. I think there were rockets that came out. All kinds of things. NASA confirmed and issued a warning about a strong solar storm impact on Earth yesterday. Actually, it was 2 days ago, March 28th. I don't even remember that.
My tan turned in so much better after I tanned this weekend?
I think it did, yeah. You look very golden, by the way.
I was tan as much as I can, and I guess I got to time it out with solar storms.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, you're almost Colonel tan. You're almost the original recipe. According to the space agency, the strong solar storm is expected to strike the Earth's atmosphere above the UK. Oh, we were a little off, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're off.
Yeah.
But you know what? They need sun over there. They don't get a lot of sun over there. So.
You're telling me they're white. A solar storm is caused when the sun shoots electromagnetic particles or solar outbursts from its surface, and these bursts of energy are shot into space, turning into solar storms that sometimes have the potential to destroy all communications networks on Earth, from mobile phones, satellites to power grids. That explains why on the 28th, why solar networks, or I'm sorry, TV networks were going in and out. Did you notice that?
I noticed that.
When you were watching TV?
I noticed that.
Yeah, it was weird. That was a weird day to watch TV.
I didn't know if it was Wi-Fi or if it was what, but this explains it.
Yeah. However, there's a bit of a discrepancy regarding the exact time the solar storm hit Earth. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA on its part, had predicted a different time for the solar storm's collision with Earth based on NASA's prediction of a solar flare collision with Earth at midnight on March 28th, whereas America's NOAA estimated this to happen 18 hours ago from, well, as according to this article, from NASA's prediction. Dr. Tamitha Scoff, the popular space weather forecaster, so popular I barely knew her name, has shared the information regarding the solar storm a few days ago in her online forecast. Tamitha tweeted about the coming solar storm, and her tweets read, "Fast hit or slow?" Oh, I love it when the ladies put that in the tweet. You know what I'm saying?
Great comment.
Yeah, fast hit or slow. Ooh, I get to choose. An Earth-directed solar storm is on its way to Earth, but NASA and NOAA predictions disagree on impact time. NASA says the impact will be near midnight, March 28th, but NOAA believes 18 hours earlier. Either way, aurora could reach to mid-latitudes. So, yeah, we had a bit of a solar storm. Your TVs were messed up a little bit, and the British probably got a nice tan.
Does that mean we're going to get a British Fantastic Four? Because isn't that how they got all their powers? Right? It was a solar
I don't think flare? It was solar flares. I think you're thinking cosmic rays. But
you're right, I am.
Yeah, but that's okay. Right. Hey, we're close. Kind of the same thing, but not really. But yeah,
it looked like a solar flare.
Kind of, yeah.
I was young. I looked at the pictures.
That's what I told my mom when she found the Playboys. I'm young. I'm looking at the pictures. I meant to read the articles, but I'm a little young for that.
Can't read yet, but I can see the boobies.
I can see the boobies. NASA, turns out, is announcing a mystery Hubble discovery next week.
Oh, I don't like when NASA has mysteries.
Yeah.
This could be bad.
Could just be a hair on the lens.
Can we take door number 1 instead of the mystery box, NASA?
I don't know. The space agency is expected to announce an intriguing new discovery made using the Hubble Space Telescope. Hubble has made a lot of new discoveries over its 32 years in operation. Even now, despite being more than 3 decades old, it is still managing to find exciting new things. According to NASA, the telescope's latest discovery will be revealed to the public on March 31st at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
I wonder why they're waiting. Like, what is... You think it's going to be like a big aha thing or a wah, wah, wah?
That's the thing with NASA. You never know.
Or exactly, especially lately.
They've had some things in the background of video where they're like, oh, no, you didn't see that. And then there's other things they're like, oh, but maybe it is. And it turns out just to be like a mouse fart on the moon.
And the Hubble telescope isn't really reliable. Like, it's been broken how many times?
Yeah.
And I don't get why they're making the Hubble one this big thing when they just released that new telescope.
Yeah, which can see, like a gnat's asshole at the end of the universe. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Are they trying to bring us back to being excited for the Hubble? The old man needs a pop.
The old man needs glory. As things stand, we don't know what the discovery could be. However, NASA itself has described it as record-breaking. Oh, wow. Okay. They really are trying to get the pop for the old man, aren't they?
They are.
And suggests that it will open up a whole new area of study. Hubble has dazzled humanity for more than 3 decades with its iconic images of the cosmos, a press release reads. For nearly 32 years, Hubble's groundbreaking discoveries have written textbooks and reshaped our understanding of the universe. The latest Hubble result not only extends our understanding of the universe, but creates an exciting area of research for Hubble's future work with NASA's newly launched James Webb Space Telescope.
I'm guessing new galaxy. That's what I'm guessing.
You think new galaxy?
I'm either guessing new galaxy or space gas.
Space gas. We found new space gas sponsored by Rolaids. Oh, I just did that on over the air. Yeah, space gas. I get it. Totally get it. Speaking of new discoveries and new things that you should check out. I have an announcement.
Ooh.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I just need to get it up on my iPad here. That's what she said. There is a new conference that's out there that I'm proud to say that Darkness Radio is partnering up with. It is called the Disclosure Conference, and it's out in Utah in April.
Okay.
I'll have details for you here in a little bit when we come back from the break.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
But what we'll do is we'll take a break here, and when we come back, I'll tell you all about the Disclosure Conference that's out in Utah. Some of the brightest minds in the galaxy are getting together for this Disclosure Conference. There's bound to be a revelation or two that will happen, and you don't have to necessarily go to Utah to get your tickets. You can watch it virtually online.
Okay.
And not only that, but by registering with a link that you'll be able to find in my social media and on Darkness Radio's Facebook page, you'll be able to join it as well and get 20% off.
Oh, well, I will make sure I share all that on my social media also.
There you go. So we'll let you know about that coming up after the break. We're going to take our break right now. You're listening to Supernatural News with the Bruiser and the Cruiser. I don't know. It's my radio deal. Tim Dennis, Beer City Bruiser here on Wednesday's Supernatural News on the Best in Paranormal Podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the Best in Paranormal Podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Supernatural News Wednesday. I'm Tim Dennis, along with Beer City Bruiser. I teased before the break, Bruiser, that we had a little bit of an announcement. It's the Disclosure Symposium. It's out in Vernal, Utah. It's not in April, it's in May 27th through the 29th of 2022. And what's really cool about this conference is, in 2017, we had the explosive story of the USS Nimitz. The Tic Tac video was released. It shocked the world. A year later, on the East Coast, involving another Navy pilot, we had the famous Thimble incident. The photo was released. Pilot Graves reported witnessing a cube within a sphere only 150 feet off the wing of his aircraft. Several pilots witnessed these objects multiple times over the span of a month. Both videos and pictures were captured on infrared military-grade equipment, the best technology that the U.S. government had to offer at the time. Shockingly, the U.S. Navy for the first time acknowledged the anomalous objects, although shortly after included a congressional report. A U.S. intelligence official reportedly found no evidence the UFO or UAP observed by the Navy aviators were alien spacecraft. All 3 military videos were leaked to mainstream media, leaving the world in limbo. The next credible military video is leaked, or the U.S. government is willing to disclose what they already know. Until now, the founders of the UFO mega conference decided they're not willing to wait.
Nope.
They're not waiting.
Not waiting.
Bruiser. Together, they're going to view and discuss groundbreaking footage filmed by highly trained technicians with FLIR infrared equipment of 4 separate UFO encounters at this conference.
Is this the first time they're going public?
First time they've gone public.
Oh.
All 4 videos have been vetted and assessed by multiple third-party analysts whose findings are anomalous and unidentifiable.
Oh, that's exciting.
In this conference will be Dr. Travis Taylor, who you've seen on the Skinwalker Ranch program. He'll be in there. Professor Avi Leb will be there. L.A. Marzulli will be there. James Keenan, Dr. Jim Segala, among others. Micah Hanks will be there, who we've had on the show before. Dwayne Ollinger, Charles Snyder, Paul Hynek, Michelle Miners will be there. Stephen Leah will be there. Dave Fulch. Many more. Andy Marshall will be there. And you've got tickets for the actual event. To show up to the actual event, general admission, Friday through Sunday are $129. That's for the standard event ticket. VIP tickets to actually show up at the event, $299. That's to go there. But then there is a streaming ticket as well, so you can sit at home and watch. So if you can't get to Vernal, Utah to see the footage live and in person, there is a streaming ticket that you can get. We'll have a special link in our social media that you can actually click on the streaming link. The price won't be what I just listed for those ticket prices in person ticket prices. It'll be much less. Plus, you'll get a 20% break on tickets so that you can actually watch from the comfort of your home. You won't have to go to Vernal, Utah, but you'll be able to see those 4 videos for yourself.
Well, not only that, you get to hear expert analysis of the 4 videos too.
Yeah.
Because you remember when that first Tic Tac video came out, you had the pilots talking, and then people started breaking it down, but there's no real expert analysis about it. Here you have the who's who of the UFO world breaking these 4 videos down. That's exciting. I love when these new videos start coming out and they're acknowledged as actual. We don't know what this is.
That's true. Pilot Chris Leto will be there as well. Pilot who has seen things himself. The live stream access, by the way, is a 3-day access. So keep that in mind when you sign up for the live stream access. And it's available globally. I know we have listeners that are listening from all over the world. So you'll be able to access this Disclosure Symposium from all over the world. So Darkness Radio is glad to be able to partner up with this Disclosure Symposium. May 27th through the 29th of 2022 from Vernal, Utah. What's great is you can sit in the privacy of your own home. You'll have 3-day access to this symposium. You'll be able to watch it from there. You won't have to jump on an airplane or get hotel reservations or anything like that. You can watch it all from home.
Which is amazing. Technology is so advanced than it used to be. And you had me sold when it was just a symposium, and now with the 4 videos coming out, yep. I'm curious to see what these videos look like. Yeah.
That's. I'm curious myself. I might actually go out there. I've been invited out there, but thinking about it.
You should go for sure.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. That's all I'll say. I'm thinking about it.
If you'd like a friend to go with you, I can go the first 2 days, but I have to come back.
You have to come back for the third one?
Yeah, because we're moving. That's where we're moving.
Oh, is that the weekend you're moving?
That's the house moving day, but I could go those 2 days, like, and then live stream the.
I might just have you come out.
Oh,
I think a trip to Utah is in our future, my friend. I think we may have to go look at some disclosure stuff.
And Utah is a hotbed of UFO activity.
Exactly.
Like that whole area out there is full of not just UFO, but just paranormal in general. Like you always hear these stories, and it takes place in Utah. I remember there's a funny joke a buddy of mine used to say. It says, "Utah, well, I'm taller," and we'd always joke about it. But watching these shows, listening, talking to people, Utah is a very busy state as far as paranormal and unexplained.
Yes, indeed. And this not only a hotbed for UFOs, but a hotbed in general for paranormal activity.
Well, the cryptos that are out there, you got all the skinwalkers out there. I mean, you have something. I wouldn't say something in the water. I think it's something in the soil after watching the Skinwalker Ranch stuff.
Yep. And it'll be expounded on there in the May 27th through the 29th. So we'll have that link up on our social media here. As you're listening to this program, you'll be able to get a hold of those links as well. So, and we may have we'll have a link in the description of the show as well to get your tickets for that symposium. So there you go. Let's move on. There's a interesting article here about teaching police witching to find corpses, and experts are alarmed at it. At the National Forensic Academy, crime scene investigators learn to dowse for the dead, though it's not backed by science. It's kind of an interesting article. 5 crime scene investigators wearing white Tyvek suits and purple latex glove pace through a Tennessee woodland in a slow wave, searching for areas of sunken ground and other clues that might indicate a grave site. The chill morning air is scented with loam, leaves, pine needles, and a hint of human decay. The agents mark 3 suspicious depressions in the dirt with red flags and discuss their options for investigating further. One student asks about dowsing rods. "You want to use some?" replies Arpad Voss, an instructor at the National Forensic Academy in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, where law enforcement officers come to learn how to use science to solve crimes. "At least in theory, I use them on everything," he went to say. "There's no official dowsing rods at hand, but that doesn't matter. You can use the flags," Voss offers. "Bend them like you would coat hangers." Fred Ponce, a private detective from Miami, Florida, with a dark mustache and beard, gets right to work. He tears the red plastic rectangles off 2 stakes and spaces his hands to measure about 12 inches of straight steel, then bends the remaining metal into handles. Holding the stakes like 6-shooters, he walks over one of the suspected grave sites, and the stakes cross. He does it again, they cross, and they cross again. "I'm not kidding," Ponce says, marveling that his DIY grave finder seems to be working. Voss, a 62-year-old wearing a blue CSI Death Valley cap, is teaching his students witching, or divining, or dowsing. It's a century-old practice which a person walks a straight line holding 2 bent pieces of metal, or sometimes a Y-shaped twig, until they signal the presence of whatever is being sought underground. Water witches douse for groundwater. Others use divining rods for seeking precious gems, oil, gold, or, in this case, human remains. Dowsing for the dead is not exactly endorsed by scientists or forensic experts, but it's a highlight for some students attending the National Forensic Academy, a 10-week training program sponsored by the University of Tennessee. Since the Academy's inaugural class 20 years ago, school administrators say more than 1,200 crime scene investigators from agencies in 49 U.S. states and 5 foreign countries have attended the program, which currently costs students $12,000.
That ain't bad.
That's not a golf shoe in the eye, but,
No, I mean, you're learning a trade,
That's true. The Washington Post once nicknamed the Academy the Harvard of Hellish Violence. Now, if that ain't a wrestling name, I don't know what is.
I'm dropping my $12,000 right now just to say I can graduated from there.
You, sir, graduated from the Harvard of Hellish Violence. And students now wear that slogan on their T-shirts as they analyze bloodstain patterns and fingerprint corpses. They also excavate skeletons from grave sites and collect bugs from decaying bodies sprawled on the ground at a wooded site outside of town. Near graduation, instructors blow up a car for a real-life lesson on fire scenarios and explosives.
Wait, for $12,000, you get to watch a car blow up too?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this is kind
of...
Play
with dead things and watch explosions.
Yeah, it's a cool school if I ever heard of one.
And has an awesome tagline. Let's do this.
Yeah. The Harvard of Hellish... What was it? The Harvard of Hellish Violence. Why has that never been used on any wrestling program I've ever watched?
I'm going to start it. I just can't use Harvard. I'll figure something else. I'll just put the school.
Yeah.
Or the house.
The House of Hellish Violence. That's
there
good.
It is.
I like it. In May of 2021, there was a reporter that spent a week at the academy where instructors, administrators, and students described Voss as brilliant and a genius. Some students go on to use his witching technique in their own investigations. He says he is convinced his methods work, but scholarly research doesn't back him up. Outside experts that the reporter spoke with, professional forensic anthropologists and lawyers, as well as law enforcement officers involved with police training reforms, say they're alarmed that a leading training program is teaching the pseudoscience of witching. They're also concerned about the repercussions of criminal justice at a time when many mainstream forensic techniques have proved to be unreliable, including blood spatter patterns, bite mark comparisons, and faulty interrogation techniques. In the last 2 decades, hundreds of cases built on these methods have been overturned by DNA evidence. In 2009, a report by the National Academy of Sciences concluded that nuclear DNA analysis is the only forensic technique that can support claims in court that evidence matches a specific individual or source. So while dowsing for the dead may seem particularly wacky, it's just the most extreme example of a problem afflicting the forensic practices many Americans have seen touted on television for years, says Randy Shrewsbury, a retired police officer who's founded the nonprofit Institute for Criminal Justice Training Reform. Law enforcement regularly accepts the flaws of these practices, despite the life-altering impacts that can occur when they're wrong. In particular, some experts are distressed that a Voss trainee recently got witching results admitted as evidence in a Georgia murder trial. This could set a legal precedent and allow witching-based evidence to be used in other cases, says Chris Fabricant, lead attorney for the Innocence Project, which works to exonerate wrongfully convicted prisoners. The search for the truth is never advanced through junk science, he went on to say. The Academy defended the teaching of witching, saying it is only one of the techniques that it shows its students. The program relies on its instructors to relay their extensive knowledge. Jason Jones, a forensic training specialist with the Academy, wrote in an email adding that witching doesn't create false evidence. You either find the remains or you don't. You're not trying to alter anything.
I'm all for it. I think it's great. If it's a way, and it's successful finding bodies and putting closure on, getting a corpse back to where it belongs and giving closure to a family, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Especially, like I said, he said it's just finding something. There's still other science that goes into it. I've actually watched a program where a guy used it to find gold, and every time he was 100 for 100 with the dowsing rods finding gold.
Yeah,
that's when I was like, okay.
It's no different than police using a psychic,
right? Or using a corpse dog, cadaver dog.
Yeah, exactly.
I think with the dowsing rods, along with the cadaver dog, along with something else, you're just piling stuff on to show that there's something there.
Very true.
You can never have too much evidence.
Very true. Some ghost hunters have photographed a hooded figure in Sherwood Forest. An alleged app. I feel like we've read this before, but this is
one we've done. This is a Robin Hood one. Yep.
This is a brand new story, though.
So they did it again?
They did it again.
Robin just keeps coming out, huh? He really wants us to know he's in Sherwood Forest.
He's like, "Hello, everyone. It's me again.
You have found me once again.
I've come to give you gold." An alleged apparition has been caught on camera in the woods thought to have once been frequented by Robin Hood. There are few forests in England as famous as Sherwood, but the home to the legendary, mostly fictional Robin Hood and his band of merry men as they robbed from the rich to give to the poor. So steeped in history is this stretch of woodland that it has become a popular visitor attraction, as well as a target for paranormal investigators hoping to capture evidence of its long-deceased inhabitants. Most recently, paranormal investigator Dean Buckley and his spiritualist medium partner Veronica had been exploring the woods when they captured something unusual on camera. It was January 29th, and after 11:30 in the evening, meaning that the place was pitch dark, the image they captured shows that they maintain to be the ghost of a hooded figure, one that Veronica believes may have been one of Robin Hood's merry men. I'm interested in Robin Hood and always have been, said Dean. I caught it on my camera and I was so excited. When we were in the forest, we felt we were being watched from all angles. We felt it every time as we went deeper into the forest. We heard whistles and footsteps behind us and saw shadows. We would call out to them. I felt excited and always do. It doesn't bother me, he went on to say. Sadly, though, the photograph isn't exactly clear, appearing as a vague shape in the gloom, they asked the question, could it be one of Robin Hood's men? While it's possible, we're unlikely ever to know for sure. And it's a really dark photo. It's hard to see. You barely see a shape of anything in the photo. But yeah, I wonder, being that Robin Hood is mostly fiction, it's based on a somewhat true story, but I wonder if we don't create our own tulpa in Sherwood Forest.
I think we do. I think we're looking for something in Sherwood Forest, but I don't want to say they caught a merry man, but if it's the time period, they wore cloaks, which I think we should bring back, by the way. Yeah. But yeah, people wore cloaks. So someone could be attached. That could have been their family hunting grounds. That could have been anything. So why not have a haunting there,
Yep, absolutely. Our friends over at Ghost Adventures claim that a creepy doll shop is very haunted. There are more than toys inhabiting this particular antique shop. Since 1989, antique dealers Michael Canadis and David Robinson have stocked collectible dolls in their Carmel by the Sea, California museum. Then in 2009, Robinson bought an old building in the neighboring city of Pacific Grove and set about restoring it to become the business's new home. According to the company's website, the renovation has since been completed, but it seems that at some point during the move-in, or perhaps well before it, some freeloading and otherworldly tenants have moved in. I don't know in the sense of the spirits, but I think it's a definite energy that doesn't leave. They can have energy, and it's the same energy that attracts you to an item or repels you, Canadis said recently on an episode of the Discovery Plus show Ghost Adventures, in which the four-man team of investigators travels to different haunted locations and attempts to piece together the haunted history of each site. In the most recent episode of the show's new season, the team visits the Carmel doll shop, only to find that it is indeed extremely haunted. Scrolling by the pictures of those haunted dolls. I'm not creeped out by them, by the way.
I'm not either. But no. I do believe I think a lot of antique shops are haunted. Yeah. They just don't know it because, spirits attach themselves to stuff. And these estate sales, if they don't sell it, they usually give it to auctions or antique stores or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's why I love going to antique stores and just finding something, and because you never know.
That's true. For years, the doll shop owners have been receiving complaints about construction sounds coming from the third floor apartment in the building. In reality, the unit is vacant. Canadis explained to the team, neighbors have also been reporting hearing noises from the shop late at night after it's closed. Upon entering the empty unit, the team reported they sensed an energy they were unprepared for. Then during a nighttime exploration of the space, their ghost-finding equipment allegedly picked up multiple stick figure-like forms. Eventually, the men claimed they were able to get a spirit with a female voice to speak to them, asking her, "Who are you?" But her answer was too muddled to understand. She kept speaking, however, and they were able to discern that she was saying, "Tell him to help." "Who are you?" they asked again, to which she eerily responded, "I don't know." That's kind of creepy. In the end, they determined the doll shop to be very haunted and full of unexplained poltergeist activity. However, who and why there is such a dark energy that is affecting so many in the upstairs apartment and why the spirits appear to be asking for help remains a mystery.
I wonder how many of those are going to make their way back to his museum, because he has that doll collection. Mm-hmm. And I remember going into that little area where he has all these dolls, and there's this one doll. I can see it in my head. It was a white dress with long black hair, but like all the other dolls didn't give me a feeling. But you look at this doll, and it was nothing but pure anxiety took over me.
Really?
To the point where I was shortness of breath. I felt like someone's on my chest. It was only one doll that I'd look at.
Huh.
And I left the room, and I didn't say anything to anybody. And then Delirious was with us, the Ring of Honor booker, and he came out. He goes, I don't like this doll. And he explained. I go, yeah. So what do you feel? He's like, I have so much anxiety right now, and it feels like someone's sitting on my chest. I go, I have the same thing. Like both of us experienced the same thing, but when we're in the room, we didn't talk to each other. We were just looking at the dolls, and because dolls can be creepy, but this one doll, just
weird.
The amount of anxiety, that's the thing that really bugged me, was the anxiety.
Yeah. Weird.
So,
well, that's kind of cool that you both had the same experience, and you could share it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I know there's something there. Is if more than one person, has that experience. And what made it good was I was in the room with him, and neither one of us talked to each other till we got out of the room. So it wasn't like we planned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'd said, "Oh man, my chest," or he'd said it and planted the seed in our head.
Right. You could corroborate it, but you didn't feed off each other either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. This article is saying, evidently, Bruiser, that you and Delirious are evidently have a heightened spiritual intelligence.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I've been called cute and cuddly. Now I'm intelligent. I like
There you go. You're spiritually intelligent as well. New psychology research links mystical experiences to heightened spiritual intelligence. That's according to, I believe this is SciPost I'm reading. New research published in the journal Psychology of Consciousness, Theory, Research, and Practice provides evidence that mystical experience is a spiritual rather than a wholly pathological phenomenon. The study found that women who reported having mystical experiences tended to also have greater spiritual intelligence. Well, okay, women did, but I'm passing it on to you too, my friend. Mystical experiences which are characterized by feelings of unity. That's the one thing that didn't happen after the slap, by the way.
Unity.
Yeah, it was him singing unity. Ineffability, peace and joy, and alterations in one's sense of time and space have been regarded as a correlate of psychopathological conditions such as schizophrenia. Well, that's not good news.
No.
But the new findings indicate that there is another side to such experiences. So throw all that out. My personal interest in the subject began as early as 2012 when I experienced my first mystical experience and other altered state of consciousness soon after, explained study author Daiga Katrina Bitana of Riga Stratins University in Latvia.
Of course.
It was a faraway university. At that time, I was a person without knowledge of the existence of altered states. I had no significant contact with religion, spirituality, esotericism, or similar thinking. Consequently, these states of transcendent consciousness surprised me as absolutely unprepared. On the other hand, they evoked really divine feelings and made me apprehend things I had never encountered before. But on the other hand, evidently there's two other hands here, experiencing them made me question my mental health. I lived in this sense of duality for several years until at the age of almost 30, I decided to start my academic studies in the field of psychology, which accordingly subordinated my focus on the study of mystical experience at a professional level. Since then, my interest in this topic has only grown. What fascinates and interests me right now is the vast and unequivocally unexplained breadth. That's a breadth. That is not a word we use often. and especially in speech, that science is just beginning to look into. I'm fascinated and driven by despair. At the same time, research on this topic has made me realize more than anything in my life that a person knows and understands extremely little about himself and the limits of his ability, Betania went on to say. It contains something that activates the desire for knowledge and aspiration and is full of despair at the same time. I have a great desire to understand, to apprehend, and to connect the rational with the seemingly magical and divine. In a new study, 299 Latvian women, age 18 to 69, why they cut it off at that number, don't ask me, who had not been diagnosed with a mental illness during their lifetime, completed psychological assessments of prior mystical experiences, spiritual intelligence, schizotypal personality traits, and psychotic symptoms. Betania and her colleagues found that mystical experiences were positively correlated with spiritual intelligence. In other words, women who had had an experience in which all things seemed to be unified or had experience that could not be expressed in words were more likely to agree with statements such as, I have often questioned or pondered the nature of reality. I am able to define a purpose or reason for my life, and I recognize aspects of myself that are deeper than my physical body. The researchers did not observe a significant relationship between mystical experiences and the overall measure of schizotypy.
Schizotypy.
I believe it is. It's a weird word. I've never seen it before.
Can you imagine that Craigslist ad to try and find people for that study?
I know, right? Are you crazy or are you connected to the paranormal? Come on in. We're in Latvia. But in line with previous research, mystical experiences were positively correlated with several individuals' schizotypal traits. Schizotypal. Come on in for a beef sandwich and a schizotypal, which includes unusual beliefs and unusual perceptions. Mystical experiences were also positively correlated with psychotic symptoms. There's a lot of in this. Importantly, however, mystical experiences were more strongly associated with spiritual intelligence than with schizotypal. Now you got me doing it. Schizotypal. I was so on that, and then you put schizotypal in
I gotcha.
Schizotypal personality traits or psychotic symptoms. We'll just leave it at that. There you go. So you're either crazy or you're seeing the paranormal. Now I have an article that says who is most likely to believe in the paranormal. This is from Psychology Today. Why women
schizotypal people.
Schizotypal. Why women are more likely to believe than men to believe in the supernatural phenomenon. I feel like I should have the button bar up here. Is this it right here? Is this, let's see. Nope, that's not it. Those are crickets.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got to go one down here. Here we go.
Phenomena.
There it is. Why women are more likely than men to believe in
phenomena.
There you go. Widespread belief in the paranormal persists among people today, but are generally more likely to be present in women. That's what it says here. Despite the increased availability of scientific knowledge, acceptance of scientifically unsupported beliefs, such as in the existence of supernatural paranormal
phenomena,
remains widespread. One widely replicated finding is that women are more likely than men to believe in a wide range of such
phenomena.
Does that help if I just take a break and hit that every once in a while?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Such as astrology, ghosts, psychic powers, and more. It has been argued that this is due to women's greater preference for intuitive thinking styles compared to men. Although
men want the facts, women want spiritual.
I guess. Although paranormal beliefs are related to intuitive thinking, though gender differences in such beliefs remain strong even when accounting for this factor. Hence, the reasons for the large and persistent disparity between men and women in supernatural or paranormal beliefs is yet to be fully explained. As a recent example, a nationally representative American survey asked over 1,000 people about their views on various scientifically unsupported
phenomena,
including belief in the supernatural human abilities, specifically foretelling the future and telekinesis, hauntings, advanced ancient civilizations such as Atlantis, mysterious life forms like Bigfoot, whether extraterrestrials had visited the Earth, and whether they were afraid of ghosts and zombies. Yes, really. That's what it says in parentheses here. On average, women scored significantly higher than men in beliefs about supernatural human abilities, hauntings, and Atlantis, and were more likely to fear ghosts and zombies. There were no significant differences between men and women in belief in extraterrestrial visitation or Bigfoot.
Okay, so we believe the same with them there.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of that has to do with advertising? Because if you think about astrological stuff, that's primarily geared towards women.
It is.
You know, and I don't know how old this article is, but when I went to Salem with my wife and stuff, we stopped in all the shops and stuff. A lot of the witchcraft, the astrologer, tarot cards, palm reading, all was geared towards women as far as advertising.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Although you'll find that I think as far as the psychic realm goes, I think it's more
a lot more women sensitives than men.
Yeah, right? But it's kind of starting to balance out a little bit. I'd say it's probably more 60-40 women to men. There are a lot more men psychics and tarot card readers, and yeah. I would say men are coming up in that field. Yeah, most.
I agree. I just am going back to all the different shops I've been in, and it's a lot of it is geared towards women. Because I remember asking, there's some real cool tarot cards that I wanted. And they have more of a manly style.
Well, there's definitely an audience out there for the men, that's for sure. It's just, yeah, you're right. There's a lot that's geared towards women.
And I guess just most of the sensitives I know are female. I know a few men, but that also brings up too, I know females that will admit they're sensitive. I don't know how many men admit they are.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of...
Because it's not a proven...
I don't think a lot of men will admit outwardly, that's for sure.
And that just boils down to, again, the way you used to raise kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. The results are largely in line with previous findings, although some research found that men were more inclined than women to believe in extraterrestrial visitors. Noted that gender differences mainly concerned phenomena related to spiritual or non-material forces rather than concrete material entities like Bigfoot or extraterrestrials. They suggested that women may be more interested in supernatural explanations of the world that cannot be scientifically validated, whereas men may be more interested in phenomena that can be scientifically confirmed with proper evidence, although admittedly gender differences in the latter were not significant. Based on this reasoning, they noted that it was less clear why women would be more likely to believe in advanced ancient civilizations like Atlantis than men, and suggested that this item may be open to a spiritual rather than purely material interpretation. Specifically, modern New Age and occult belief systems often attribute great spiritual importance to Atlantis, regarding Atlanteans as possessing profound esoteric knowledge that has been lost to modern peoples. As to why women are more likely than men to believe in spiritual or paranormal phenomena. See, I didn't hit the button. Silva and Woody, by the way, a great comedy team.
Silva
and Woody. They're always hard up for your attention. Hey, now. I don't have the...
Where's the crickets?
The crickets, yeah. Suggest a sociological explanation based on gendered social expectations that most configurations of American masculinity are characterized by notions of rationality, and that men are socially rewarded for displaying traits such as detached rationality, while femininity is often associated with the emotional and spiritual realms. It goes on with that article a little bit, but I mean, I think you get the idea, and I think Bruiser covered a lot of it too, that there's just ways you're raised and stereotypes and stuff like that.
Yeah, which we need to get rid of.
Yeah, most definitely. A couple says a ghost typed a message on their 80s computer to accuse them of stealing his house.
I believe that if you're attached to a place and it's yours and you don't know you're dead.
And the only way to communicate is through an 80s computer, you're going to do it.
If that's the computer that was around when you passed away.
I only know how to use this Commodore 64, but that's how I'm going to get through to him.
I want to know if it was really slowly typed, like he's using one finger as he's doing it.
He's one fingering it. Hold on, guys. Don't go anywhere. I only know how to do this. It's a case that puzzled paranormal investigators for decades because that's how long it took to type out the message. One couple who moved into an old cottage on the North Wales border in the mid-'80s, that's why, claimed to have been contacted via their BBC computer by the ghost of a man who lived at the property during the 16th century. That's why it took so long to type it out.
He didn't know what it was. He was trying to use that quill pen. So he's dipping in the ink, and why isn't this not writing?
I say, what is this weird invention you have with all these letters?
What is this contraption?
The creepy tale goes that Ken Webster and Debbie Oakes were walking up their garden path one evening when they saw a green glow emanating from the living room window. Once inside, they saw that the PC borrowed on weekends from the IT department of the school where Ken worked back when computers were way too expensive to even think about buying.
Yep.
Had been turned on and a message typed across the monitor screen. It read, "True are the nightmares of a person that fears. Safe are the bodies of the silent world. Turn, pretty flower, turn towards the sun, for you shall grow and sow. But the flower reaches too high and withers in the burning light."
Did they really talk that way in the 16th century? Like that? It'd be so hard to get your point across.
If I got one shot at this deal and I'm a ghost and I sit down at a computer, I'm
not being fancy like that.
That's the last thing I'm typing.
No, mine will say beer or fart, and that's how you'll know it's me.
Beer or fart. Hey, it's Bruiser. He said that. He said he was going to say that on Darkness Radio, and by gosh, Bruiser's here.
I'm not typing a whole soliloquy like this guy did.
Yes. Let's see. I'm dead. I need to get a hold of someone. Let's see. True are the nightmares of a person that fears. Safe are the bodies of the silent world. What else should I put on? Let's see. Turn, pretty flower, toward the sun. Let's see. How else shall they know me? Oh, yes. For you shall grow and sow. Yes. How else shall I do this? Oh, yes. But the flower reaches too high and withers in the burning light. Yes, they'll know me by this. Yes. By the way, I'm thoroughly fucked. I'm a ghost. What? I mean, what? I wouldn't.
If I got that, I'd be more confused than anything. Like, what, are we being haunted by Shakespeare?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah, exactly.
I really hope that time travel doesn't become like an everyday thing, because I'm going to be that guy that goes back to the 16th century and I'm just constantly going, what do you mean? What are you saying? What do you want?
Speak English. And by the way, pull my ghost finger. I don't know. That'd be half the fun. Can you pull this? Can you pull this? Can you even grab it?
That makes me happy now. The EVP we got, we were at my father-in-law's house doing an EVP session, and my wife had asked, because her grandparents had passed and they were selling the house, and she had asked the question, "Are you upset they're selling the house?" And the EVP was simple. It just said yes. It didn't have this whole big soliloquy like you had.
Yeah.
Like, we understood that. We wouldn't have gotten if as the sun falls in the west and the pale moon rises and the autumn leaves bring on the winter winds, like
hickory dickory dock. It wasn't the first strange occurrence the pair had noticed at the old house. Dusty footprints kept appearing around the place.
Oh, of
course. Could be you just need to wipe your feet. While tins of cat food were discovered inexplicably stacked in a pyramid formation.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Cats were stacked in a pyramid?
No, tins of cat food were.
Oh, I thought you meant the actual cats.
That would be an awesome trick. If you could do that in the afterlife.
I'm going to shake that ghost's hand if he gets all these cats to stand in a pyramid.
That's right. If you could do that, well, by God, you got a job in Vegas. Tins of cat food were discovered inexplicably stacked in a pyramid formation, but that creepy poem would become the first of many communications they'd received from someone calling themselves Lucas Wayneman. So it wasn't Shakespeare after all.
Nope.
In another message a few days later, he would go on to accuse Ken of having stolen his house located in the village of Dawdleston, Cheshire. That's where it was. What strange words you speak, it began. You are a worthy man who has a fanciful woman, and you live in my house with lights which the devil makes. It was a great crime to have stolen my house. L.W.
Oh. So not only was he making or mad at him for stealing the house, but he was kind of low key hitting on his wife too.
Oh yeah, he was gonna straight.
He was doing that 16th century hitting on her.
Yeah, he's like, I'd slap you in the face and challenge you to a duel. By the way, I'm going to run up in your woman when she's sleeping. Showing the message to a friend who specializes in medieval literature, Ken was told it was written in an archaic form of English. The mention of lights in which the devil makes, in particular, possibly an old world reference to text flashing on the monitor screen. And things would get more weird over the next 18 months with Ken, who wrote a book about his experiences entitled The Vertical Plane, claiming he was also contacted via the computer by an unknown entity from the year 2109.
Whoa.
So they went backwards in time.
Yeah.
It was suggested that some kind of portal existed in the house directly linking the different points in time. Lucas in the 1500s, Ken and his friends in the 1980s, and the mystery person in the 22nd century. The latter even hinting that the cosmic passageway was part of some wider purpose or experiment. What that meant, however, no one managed to find out. And the last Ken and Debbie heard from Lucas was that he was being hounded out of the area.
He's being hounded now, huh?
I guess.
I want to know what the 2109 letter sounded like. Like, it couldn't have been as fancy as the 15th century guy.
Greetings, human. He claimed to be accused of witchcraft due to his ability to communicate with people from the future. There would be no messages from him or indeed the unnamed entity from 2109 again. Several paranormal investigators visited the address during the course of those few years, but none found any evidence of strange goings-on. That said, the case continues to intrigue those who believe in otherworldly events even to this day.
I think it's amazing that happened. It's too bad it's not happening anymore. That must mean if it was a portal, the portal moved.
Or it closed.
Correct.
Yeah.
It could have been closed. Like, they might have accidentally closed it. Or the 2109 person closed it.
Yeah, because it was no longer needed, or maybe they made a mistake.
That could be too.
That's true. Bruiser, evidently people don't know about March Madness in Wisconsin.
No, we do. Trust me. It's everywhere.
They just don't know that everybody in Wisconsin, when it's March Madness time, what do? You either gather around your TV at home or you gather around in a pub or in a bar. You grab yourself a cold one, you watch March Madness, whether you be animal, mineral, vegetable, or human.
Animals are watching, huh?
Yeah, animals are watching. A herd of deer overran a Wisconsin pub. One smashed right through a window.
That's a common occurrence here, I have to say.
Yeah, deer.
I've seen numerous videos of deer just going crazy in bars here in Wisconsin. In my time in Wisconsin doing radio, I was told they are rats with horns. Yep, exactly.
They just help themselves to whatever, and people are like, "Oh no, they're so cute." No, they're rats with horns.
They were just confused. They thought, they didn't know it was March Madness. They thought it was the NBA playoffs when the Bucks.
Yeah, when the Bucks were on, and they were like, "Them's my people," and then they run in to try and watch them on the TV.
Yeah.
Dublin's Irish pub in Oshkosh posted photos to Facebook showing the mess of broken glass left behind by an unexpected guest that decided.
I've been to that bar.
Have you?
I have. I have literally been to that bar.
They got overrun. They were overrun by an unexpected guest that decided to use our window as the entrance. The bar later posted an update after a review of security camera footage showed the deer hadn't acted alone. The video shows an entire herd of deer vaulting over a short wall and overrunning the pub's patio seating area when one of the animals leapt right through the window, shattering it. The pub said the deer dispersed within seconds of arriving at the business.
I'd do that to get a nice cold beer.
I would too. I think they got it. They got it all under control.
A herd of deer.
A herd of deer. Speaking of being overrun, are you ready for this?
Yes.
It's that time again.
Oh, no.
Bruiser!
AI is going to take over our world.
Yep.
Kill us all. Humans be gone.
Elon Musk is helping him, by the way.
Oh, I know. I think he is one. I honestly think he is one of them.
He might be. Elon Musk says people might download their personalities onto a humanoid robot Tesla is making, by the way, which could be in moderate volume production next year. If you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, my personality is going, nobody wants my personality in a robot.
It'd be mouth punching time all the time.
It would be.
Without the beer. Elon Musk has high hopes for a future with humanoid robots. Humanoid robots.
What? Watch Terminator. Wasn't there a Johnny Depp movie where he tried to download his personality into a computer and that didn't go well either?
Yeah.
Like, we need to learn from these movies, people.
Evidently not. Humanoid robots are happening, he said. The rate of advancement of AI is very rapid. You traitor. You effing traitor. Musk shared his thoughts during a recent conversation with Matthias Dopfner, the CEO of Insider's parent company, Axel Springer, at Tesla's factory in Fremont, California. He spoke about potential future uses for Optimus. Optimus.
An optimist? No.
No, Optimus, like Optimus Prime.
Oh, okay. Whoa, hey.
A humanoid robot Tesla is making. They're naming it Optimus.
Oh, gosh.
Optimus is a general-purpose sort of worker droid, the Tesla CEO said.
So we're going to put a personality in this humanoid droid, and its whole purpose is just to work.
Yep.
What if the person's personality hates work?
Too bad, so sad.
That means that it can go in and destroy the workforce.
The initial role must be in work that is repetitive, boring, or dangerous, basically work that people don't want to do. When asked if Optimus could feature in people's daily lives, such as by lending a hand around the house, Musk concurred, saying it'd be a general-focused humanoid.
Hey, Optimus, can you go clean the bathroom? Here is your wife's head. I took it from her.
She would not clean, so I took it. He said he thinks it's possible that people may one day be able to download their brain capacities into an Optimus.
No.
We could download the things that we believe make ourselves so unique, he said. Now, of course, if you're not in that body anymore, that is definitely going to be a difference. But as far as preserving our memories, our personality, I think we could do that.
What else are we going to be besides in our body? Like, why do you have to put that in there if you're not in your body?
Yeah.
Like, sorry, today I'm in my car. My body's sleeping, but I'm in my car.
Oh, my God. Musk also spoke to the robot's bipedal design. Humanity has designed the world to interact with a bipedal humanoid with 2 arms and 10 fingers, he said. So if you want to have a robot fit in and be able to do the things that humans can do, it must be approximately the same size and shape and capability. Musk says he thinks Tesla will have something pretty good at the prototype level this year and might have at least a moderate volume production around the end of 2023. He first unveiled the 5'8", 125-pound Tesla bot during a company AI event in August of 2021. In January, he called it the most important product development we're doing this year.
No, it's not. It's Elon Musk is trying to destroy the world.
He is. He's enemy number one. Besides Optimus, Musk spoke about a range of other topics in the interview. He shared his thoughts on Russia's invasion of Ukraine, saying, "We cannot let Putin take over Ukraine." He added that he thinks Putin is significantly richer than him, even though Musk is the world's richest person on record. Well, then why don't you send Optimus to Russia?
Exactly. Hey, Optimus, go take care of this.
Yeah.
I like how he did throw in this is the greatest invention. Oh, Russia bad, Ukraine good.
Yeah, yeah.
Why did that have to be in there?
Look away from the robot.
Look away from the death machine we're creating.
Dear God, dear God. 3 stories left here today on Supernatural News, and they're of the strange variety. They're a little supernatural, but this one is of the strange variety. Today, I've had some hiccups, so I'm a little concerned. So I'll just read this one out of sheer effing fear. Ready for this?
Like the last one you read, out of sheer effing fear.
That's right. This is the fear section of Supernatural News today. A man's nonstop hiccups turned out to be a brain tumor symptom.
Oops.
Whoa. The man.
I'm gonna worry now every time I hiccup.
I know, right? I've had them every day, like for the last month and a half.
It's not a tumor.
Not a tumor. The man had hiccups for months before doctors found a tumor along his brainstem. See, now I'm about to hiccup. Goddamn psychosomatic.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. A young man's persistent hiccups were a sign of a far scarier health problem, according to a recent case report from doctors in India. Why is it always they find this stuff in India? We have listeners in India. They can tell me this.
There's so many people in India.
Tim at darknessradio.com. Oh, by the way, we do have a Parashare we need to play.
That's right.
We're going to do that after this story because I need something to shake off the ickiness that I'm feeling right now about the fact that I may have a brain tumor. A young man's persistent hiccups were a sign of a far scarier health problem, according to a recent case report from doctors in India. The man turned out to have an aggressive brain tumor, one that had started to cause pressure on his brain after he received cancer treatment, though his hiccups began to subside. I can't even read this straight. By the time the man saw a doctor, he had been experiencing unceasing hiccups for about 4 months, but otherwise seemed fine. Can you imagine that going all day long?
4 months?
Yeah.
I cannot imagine that. How many times did someone just jump out and scare him trying to get rid of it?
All day long. You just hire somebody to come up behind you and go, boo, boo, boo. Eventually, though, he developed a severe headache and projectile vomiting.
Oh, of course. That had to suck while hiccuping.
Oh, can you imagine you're about to vomit and it gets halfway through your mouth and you hiccup and it comes back in?
Yeah.
And then you vomit again. You vomit it out.
Oh.
God, that'd be horrible. I know that was really TMI, Tim, but I mean.
But you're right, though. That would be horrible.
But I put you right in that space, didn't I?
4 months of hiccups.
Yeah.
That just sounds like hell.
Most of his medical exams revealed nothing out of the ordinary until his brain was scanned. Their doctors spotted a diffuse. Hold on, I got to get this closer to my eyes because I could have swore that said poutine. A diffuse Pontine glioma, a tumor found in an area of the brainstem known as the pons. Not the fons, the pons. Yeah.
The pons.
The tumor was also found alongside a mild form of hydrocephalus, a condition in which excess fluid builds up in the brain, often squishing it in the process.
I've heard of that before. That's a common thing with head injuries. Wow.
The strange case was detailed last week in BMJ case reports. I get it at 5 a.m. every morning on my doorstep. Hiccups are caused by involuntary contractions of the diaphragm, a thin muscle at the base of the chest that primarily helps us breathe. So, no big deal. There are many potential triggers for hiccups, including eating too fast, drinking carbonated beverages, taking certain medications, and even a bout of stress. But as the authors of this case report note, the vast majority of hiccup episodes are benign and short-lasting. When hiccups keep happening, though, they can be a sign of something more serious, including neurological disorders. Indeed, there have been reports in the past of hiccups being linked to brain tumors. In these cases, it's often believed that the tumor somehow irritates the phrenic nerve, a nerve that starts from our neck and helps regulate the diaphragm. What made this cause unusual is that the man's hiccups were the only sign of something wrong for months, the doctors noted. But once the tumor was discovered, the patient underwent neurosurgery and radiation therapy. And about a month after the radiation started, his hiccups had subsided considerably. To be clear, chronic hiccups are thankfully rare, and even rarer are hiccups caused by brain tumors. They may be a bit more common for advanced cancer patients, though these include cancers outside the brain and can be linked to treatments people get rather than the cancer itself. Some of the many other known causes of chronic hiccups include hernias, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and surgery complications. Hiccups. I'm so startled here. Hiccups are an annoying fact of life, but if someone starts complaining of persistent and intractable hiccups, the doctors wrote, it's crucial that these patients undergo a detailed evaluation, as a timely diagnosis of underlying medical pathologies can help prevent further complications. Well, now I'm weirded out because now I got to go see a doctor.
You haven't had it for 4 months, though.
No, I've had it often for a long time.
Oh, yeah, then go get checked out.
Yeah,
could be medication too, though. They said. Now you're just gonna think like every time you hiccup.
Now I don't know if it's carbonated beverages because I drink a lot of those, and I don't know if it's, it's not the tumor.
It's not the tumor, Tim. It's not the tumor.
All right, let's shake off the weird thoughts here. Val had part 1 of her story, and we said we didn't get part 2 of her story, but now we have part 2 of her story, which we're gonna play now. See,
there it is. Yep.
See, there's the hiccup. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to Parashare. And this is Val. This is the second part of her audio Parashare. You remember the first part of her Parashare was a few weeks ago. This is the second part of her Parashare that was clipped off from her email a few weeks ago. We want to give that to you now, and we want to answer a question at the end. So we'll do that. Okay, Bruiser?
Okay.
Here we go. Here's Parashare. If you have a Parashare that you want to share with us, you can do it 2 ways. You can either call us at 651-300-4977, and you can leave a message like Val did here, or you can simply email tim@darknessradio.com. Let's play Val's message, and we will answer it at the end.
My second dream was after we moved to Pennsylvania, and I was 4 when we moved to Pennsylvania, and I would keep having the toy store dream, but then I also started having a dream where, and this is actually after I started having the second dream after we moved into an old farmhouse that my great-great-grandmother helped build and live in, and my bedroom was her old bedroom, I do believe. So in the second dream, and I don't even know if I don't know if it's a dream. I don't understand it. But this dream, all it consisted of was me laying in bed, and the tall people would be looking at me. I don't know who the tall people are. I don't know what the tall people look like. All I dreamt of was me laying in bed and the tall people looking at me. And then the dream kind of evolved almost to where I was laying in bed and the tall people were looking at me, but I was also floating above the bed, looking down at the tall people looking down at me. It sounds crazy to describe it, and I've never really told anybody really about it. Anyway, because it sounds crazy to me. And I just thought maybe you guys could give me some insights. Again, this all happened when I was young. I haven't had these reoccurring dreams for quite a while, but they have stuck with me. I can still picture them, and I still know the feeling that they gave me. But like I said, the tall people, I couldn't tell you what they look like. I have no idea. I just know they were tall people looking at me. Anyway, thanks for listening, and thank you for Darkness Radio. I love it, and I love all the different kind of brain candy you provide us each and every week. So thank you so much.
Bruiser, you want to field it first?
Yeah, actually, since her first one, I've been doing a lot of research into dream stuff just because her first one was so cool. And if I remember, I actually looked it up on my phone after you told me, and it says in here that when you see somebody like a tall man or tall woman in your dream, it could be a symbol of unfulfilled dreams, or at the same time progress in in the business sphere, increasing passion, love, and other emotions. And they say that if women see tall men, they will usually have a happy life and they're completely satisfied. And I think because she can't describe what they look like. Mm-hmm. I think that might be because she was so young when it's going that she has something that she's working for. And now that she doesn't, whatever she's done in her life to fulfill whatever she's doing, that's why she's not having these reoccurring dreams anymore. I think she's fulfilling what her subconscious wanted her to fulfill. That's kind of what I got out of it.
That's an interesting take. Oh, I like that take.
Yeah. Because it also said too, the downside is if it's a very ugly person, and it usually means something bad is going to happen, something ugly. But she said she went out of her way to say, hey, no, you can't tell. I can't tell who they are. So she couldn't tell if it was male or female. So I think it was something about her, what she wants to accomplish in life. And I think because she's accomplished something in her life. That's why they're not happening anymore.
Okay.
That's just my take off of off the 2 dreams that she said.
If you're talking in the realm of supernatural and why you might be seeing it from a supernatural standpoint, and that's a good evaluation from Bruiser as far as, why psychologically you may be seeing these tall men.
Right.
Supernaturally, tall men, tall beings, anything tall, if you're seeing that and you can't see a face, it could be a group of either guardian angels or spirit guides that you could be looking at. If you're getting a scary feeling from it, you could be surrounded by potentially spirits that you're not understanding. You could be getting a peek into spirits that are trying to communicate with you that you're not understanding. And for one reason or another, you've closed that veil on your own subconsciously and that you're not seeing it anymore.
And that might be something, because she even said, I think it was a dream, or she didn't know if she was dreaming or not. So that spiritual aspect could it also be, again, I'm curious to see where she was in her life, because when you speak of guardian angels, it brings back my own experiences where I've seen stuff like that. I'm like, wow, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like that gave me peace, made me feel good, which obviously is a guardian angel.
Right.
But yeah.
If you, a lot of times the mind is a wonderful thing and sometimes can be a frustrating thing. If you feel like you're having a breakthrough as far as being able to communicate with something, but you're not quite ready to yet, especially in dreams or dream visitation, everything will shut down. You'll stop doing what it is you think you're able to do. If you think you're breaking through, or even stepping out of body, there is such a thing as when you're falling asleep, traveling to a different astral plane. And if you're traveling out of body on the astral plane when you're sleeping, and you encounter something on an astral plane when you're traveling on the astral plane, and you keep seeing something or traveling to a place day after day after day, and you realize this is too much for me, your body will yank you back on that silver cord and pull you back in, or your mind will rather, and won't let you go any further. You'll put your own blocks up in your brain and just tell you, I'm not going any further. We're not doing this anymore because we're not ready.
That's what the sense of floating could have been. Because she said at one point in time she was floating. Yeah.
And that could have been you leaving your body, going to whatever this place is with these tall people, which could have been a completely different world entirely. And that's just from a supernatural standpoint.
Right.
So that's just two different perspectives of what that could have been, Val. And again, if you want to get in on the fun and weigh in with us, you can either email us, tim@darknessradio.com for Supernatural Parashare. Or you can just call us, 651-300-4977. Record your story at that number. If it's longer than 3 minutes and it hangs up on you, just call us back, record the rest of your story. I'll stitch it together, and we'll play it here on the air, and we'll weigh in on it. Just let us know if you want us to weigh in on it, or just tell us your story and we'll play it. Either way.
We talked off air. I've had fans come up to me at shows now and share their experiences. I'm always telling them, hey, call in or email Tim so we can get it on the show, because I love hearing stuff like this, and I love giving my, again, it's just what I know from my experiences, but it's so good hearing people describe their experiences, because we're a community. We help each other out,
Yep, exactly. I have a story here. We have two stories left here on Supernatural News. A researcher looking for UFO documents may have discovered the first poem about flying saucers. We had a poem from a ghost earlier. Now we have a poem about UFOs. It's a poetry day here on Supernatural News. Since the early days of modern UFO studies, following sightings that begin to make headlines in 1947 and thereafter saw many years of investigation by the U.S. Air Force, a leading theory that has remained about these aerial objects. This, of course, involves the notion that they may represent visitations by intelligent beings from other worlds. Whether or not this is a correct interpretation of what unidentified flying objects may represent, the idea has certainly presented inspiration in a variety of disciplines, from astronomers who have become intrigued by the notion of Earth visitation by extraterrestrials to biologists who wonder about the possibility of study life that evolved on other planets. There's study life on other planets.
I mean studying life?
I think they're missing some words here. Yeah. UFO are both a genuine mystery and a springboard toward inspiration in a variety of ways. Such appears to have been the case for one U.S. Air Force officer in the spring of 1950, as news about flying saucers has been making headlines in U.S. newspapers. However, the inspiration derived in the case of question on mysterious reports of aerial objects didn't involve the sciences, but instead poetry of all things. Strangely enough, a poem entitled "The Flying Saucer" was discovered as a result of the persistent Freedom of Information Act efforts of longtime UFO researcher Jim Klotz, as revealed to him in a letter from Maxwell Air Force Base archivist Archie DeFanti, in a letter responding to Klotz's FOIA request. Klotz first learned of the poem as part of a larger batch of documents that were revealed to exist by Maryland researcher Michael Ravinsky, who in the early 2000s managed to obtain a listing of more than 500,000 documents held by U.S. Air Force Historical Research Agency at Maxwell Air Force Base, many of which remain classified. The document in question is unclassified and available to the public, DeFanti explained in a letter to Klotz dated January 7th, 2005, and delivered from the Department of the Air Force Historical Research Agency. Although the print quality of the document was in question and was relatively poor, a quaint poem inspired by sightings of UFOs during the late 1940s had managed to survive over the years and remained in the Air Force's historical archives in Alabama. It was penned by a Sergeant Barnes in March of 1950. The poem, aptly titled "The Flying Saucer," might not otherwise have been seen, or might not have seen the light of day without Klotz's effort. It reads as follows. So if you would just put on your artistic cap for a minute.
I'll put it back on because I took it off after the 16th century ghost.
Sorry. All right. It says, "Hearing tales of little men and speeding ships on high, around me almost 2 words every day, I cast a weary eye. Today I saw men gathered around the hangar door. They said they saw a saucer, a tiny ship they swore." I keep thinking I'm the genius here. "They pointed to the cloudless sky, past vapor trails they sigh. I saw a far-off something shining in the sky. We watched it hard, it seemed to move as vapors drifted by. I felt the strangest feelings, of course I know not why. A weather balloon sent up to give the weather for the day. Some said a star that shines so bright, we see it in the day. Illusions, stars are man-made things, ships from other planets. We watched, we talked and wondered, but none of us could name it." I think he fell off on that verse.
Yeah. Yep, that verse wasn't as solid.
Yeah, he's running out here. One last verse. "Because I could not give them, the answer is not given. What is the thing that shines so bright, so far up in the heavens?" And that's by Sergeant Barnes.
That was a good little poem.
Yeah.
It makes sense that they make it into poetry because for years it's been in artwork and whatnot, dating back to the hieroglyphics and stuff they said they had.
Yeah.
UFOs and aliens and stuff in.
True. It's unclear why this item by Tech Sergeant Barnes appears in the March 1950 history of the 27th Fighter Group, Bergstrom Air Force Base, Texas, but it does, Klotz later noted. As to who the author, the mysterious and lyrically inclined Tech Sergeant Barnes may have been, this remains a bit of a mystery. From the wording of his poetic debut, it seems Barnes might have been open to possibilities as far as what the ultimate source of UFOs might be, albeit aware of the various conjectures offered as possible solutions, whether it be weather balloons and illusions, spelled ELUSIONS, stars or man-made things, as referenced in his poem. While the documents feature Barnes's poem obtained by Klotz may not represent the most earth-shattering Air Force document related to UFOs, it does provide a snapshot of the world's widespread cultural interest the subject was generating as America entered the 1950s, a decade which would see the official end of the U.S. Air Force's second official UFO investigative effort, Project Grudge, and the subsequent beginning of Project Blue Book, which still remains the longest-running systematic study of UAP in U.S. history.
I find it interesting it made it into the classified files. Even a poem about UFOs made it into a classified file. You know what I mean?
I suppose because there was speculation beyond what they were willing to acknowledge at the time.
And it makes me wonder what did they see? You know what I mean? Like if they found out a guy wrote a poem about it and now they got to classify it. You know what I mean?
Right. It
kind of adds plausibility to his what he's talking about.
Very true. This article actually comes from Fresh Air and National Public Radio in Kansas City, which makes you wonder what they're doing dealing with UFOs. Must be a slow day in the newsroom at NPR.
It must be.
This town says spaceships welcome with hopes of becoming the UFO capital of Kansas.
Oh.
Not
of the world, just of Kansas.
Yeah, just of Kansas. Not a lot going on in Kansas. If you... and I don't even know how you say the name of this town. Is it Geneseo? It must be. Geneseo.
Geneseo? Yeah.
If you visit a small town that hopes to be known one day as the UFO capital of Kansas, it may be the Rice County town of Geneseo, population 200.
Oh, wow. That is a small town.
Yeah, it is. They're hoping to get some tourism one way or another. Yeah. There's a sign at the entrance of the city museum beckoning visitors, all kinds of visitors. In fact, it says spaceships welcome.
So they really want this.
They need the money. Welcome to Geneseo, where a movement is underway to name the town the UFO capital of Kansas and perhaps even host a special global event on July 2nd, which is World UFO Day. Evidence of otherworldly visitors is in a new permanent exhibit at the Geneseo City Museum. When it comes to viewing the exhibit, think of a mix of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds radio broadcast of 1938 and episodes of Lost in Space and My Favorite Martian from the 1960s. The UFO collection was originally gathered by Elmer Jansen, who is a Geneseo chiropractor.
Good old Elmer.
The museum first opened in the 1960s, and when Jansen died in 1977, he donated his house and collection to the city of Geneseo. In recent years, the museum's board's focus has been to help tell the unique stories of Jansen along with the history of northern Rice County, including railroad history and early pioneer families. We call him Doc Jansen, and he was interested in everything Geneseo, said Jim Gray, president of the Geneseo City Museum Board and one of the people responsible for the museum's space alien exhibit. He collected all kinds of early histories, but he was also a minister and had a belief the future could be seen in the scriptures. Boy, there's a confusion right there.
I was going to say,
somehow, Gray said, Jansen believed beings from outer space were Christian.
Of course they were.
Sure.
Because when they landed, you had people walk up and go, "Can I speak to you about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ?"
I thought you were going to say because when they crash landed, soldiers would gather around and go, "Jesus Christ, what is that?"
That could be too. And they're just, "Who is this Jesus? We need to look him up."
So he was very much involved with this idea of alien visitation to our planet, Gray said. The whole thing begins for these guys with the atomic explosions in Japan, and they claimed that we were being visited by these alien beings to warn us that we were messing with the polarity of the Earth by exploding these atomic weapons. And we were not only threatening our planet, but the entire solar system. So Jansen had friends from the 1940s through the 70s, Gray said. There was John Dean from Nickerson, who drew multiple illustrations of spaceships, both inside and out. Jansen collected spring water from Buck Nelson's farm in Missouri that the space aliens like to drink.
How? Come on out to my spring here.
Yeah, come on up to Buck Nelson's farm. We got good space alien drink. And the hair of the dog.
Boy, I can't wait to get some of Buck Nelson's spring water.
That's good spring water.
And the hair of a dog from Venus, because just like humans, space aliens like to travel with their pets. Photos of the dog,
Can't
however,
leave Sparky behind.
That's right. Photos of the dog, however, look suspiciously like a Pomeranian.
That's because Pomeranians are aliens. I mean, come on, Tim.
They're universal, yeah. Well, they are little yippy dogs, that's for sure.
They're easy to travel with. That's why the aliens have them.
I can put them in my spaceship and still have room.
When it comes to the flying saucer collection, I know no collection like this one. Okay, so Roswell's like the cream of the crop, Gray said Riley. And I have been there, and it's a wonderful collection and story to tell, but it's not this story, and I don't think this story is told anywhere in the county in the way that we can tell it. I think you just did.
You did. You literally just told us your story.
Yeah. In fact, the exhibit and museum may be the only one of its kind in Kansas, Gray said. Jansen had many interests beyond visitors from outer space. He became knowledgeable on Braille and magnetic tape recordings. Part of his collection includes the letter Jansen received from Helen Keller, the American author and educator who was both blind and deaf. But the outer space aliens aspect is so intriguing. I wonder if Helen Keller ever met the aliens.
She couldn't tell. She couldn't see or hear.
Oh, come on.
How would she know?
Don't go down that road.
I'm trying so hard not to.
Maybe she met him and felt their face. You never know.
What is this woman doing to me?
Get off me. Get off me.
Somebody send Sparky.
Sick him. Sick him.
All I want is spring water.
I just want Buck Nelson spring water. Is that so wrong?
This is classic Americana of a specific time period, Gray said. They, Jansen and other believers, did not think these were little green men. They described them as looking just like us, and they were living amongst us and actually influencing our direction. Was Helen
Keller an alien? Is that what he's...
I don't think he's talking about Helen Keller.
I don't think so either.
No.
He threw that in there, that he had a letter from Helen Keller.
It's kind of weird that she got thrown into the whole mix. We're talking aliens, and all of a sudden, I got this here letter from Helen Keller.
I don't get the correlation. So
I don't either.
I think he's assuming Helen Keller was an alien.
I don't know. They early on believed that there was this simple kind of Christian type movement, that these alien beings were also Christianized. And then they were different branches that not all were interested in our welfare. They began developing ways of identifying whether these were good beings or not. Gray, whose family has lived in the Geneseo area for 5 generations, said he remembers as a child when Dean, Jansen's friend from Nickerson, came to Geneseo and made a presentation about spaceships. They did a PTA program here at Geneseo. Of course they did. And of course, most of the community was somewhat embarrassed by the whole thing, Gray said. A lot of folks just thought of him, Jansen, as a crackpot, and they didn't want other folks to know about this guy's stuff. But he represented a culture that was widespread across the country. And now it may be the one thing that draws tourism visitors to Geneseo. They, believers of UFOs, understood that there were people visiting our planet from Venus, from Saturn, and from far-off planet that they called coriander. Isn't coriander a spice?
It's also Stargirl's real name in DC Comics.
Yeah, that is, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it a spice or is it? Yeah, I'm thinking of a colander.
A colander is what is a
noodle thing.
Yeah. That's certainly some wild stuff, he went on to say. I've always said the thing about being a Kansan is that when you grow up seeing the vast horizon, you get a sense of that all things are possible. You get a sense of the openness of the prairie that you can't get if you're living in the eastern part of the country. A strong value among Kansans is that we're neighborly, whether it is our neighbors down the road or space aliens or just another neighbor and somebody to say howdy to. The Geneseo City Museum is located at 907 Silver Avenue in Geneseo, if you happen to drop by. It is open the second Saturday of each month, so you got to time this one perfectly, kids.
Well, I'm not. When am I going to be out? I'm in Kansas in May. I think it's the third weekend.
And it's from 2 to 5 p.m.
Oh, yeah, I'll be busy.
You really got to be on the dot on this one. Or you can make a special appointment by contacting Jim Gray.
Oh,
he
maybe
has
I'll contact Jim Gray.
He has a number here, 785-531-2058. So there you go. Geneseo, you now have your own UFO museum.
Congratulations.
You've made the cut. You're now in UFO country. Speaking of UFO country, we'll remind you one more time. Darkness Radio is proud to partner up with the UFO Disclosure Symposium, which is May 27th through the 29th in Vernal, Utah. You can either purchase tickets to go there in person. They have VIP tickets and general admission event tickets. It's $299 for the weekend for VIP, $129 for general admission. But better yet, there is a streaming option that you can just sit at home and enjoy the entire 3-day symposium. All 3 days.
Yeah.
And you can get
exciting.
And you can get it for 20% off. And it's at least half the cost of the general admission. So you can enjoy it from the comfort of your home, and such guests as Dr. Travis Taylor, Dr. Michael Boyd will be there, Professor Avi Leb, L.A. Marzulli will be there. Pilot
Travis Taylor, just hearing him talk would be amazing, just because I loved his point of view on the Skinwalker Ranch stuff that he was doing. Very
much so. Andy Marshall, Micah Hanks, many, many other distinguished guests in the UFO field. They're going to review 4 separate UFO encounters that were recorded under FLIR infrared equipment. All 4 videos have been vetted and assessed by multiple third-party and analysts whose findings are anomalous and unidentifiable. Highly trained technicians have looked over these videos, folks, and they are groundbreaking footage at that of different UFO encounters and UAP encounters. So groundbreaking footage will be shown at this symposium. You'll be able to see it for the first time. UFO Disclosure Symposium. We'll have a link in the description of this program for you to get your ticket, whether you want to show up there in Vernal, Utah, or you want to stream it from home, you can. And we've got a link to save you some cash on that symposium. And you can watch it right from home.
Yeah, and I'll share it on all my platforms too. I mean, I don't know why people will pass it up. The 4 videos alone are worth it, you know.
There you go. So yeah, it'll be quite the time. So by all means, get in on it and check it out for yourself. I know there's quite a UFOs and UAPs are quite a popular topic here on Darkness Radio, and I know you guys will be excited to get a look at it and take a look at it. So we're providing that for you, so you can check it out for yourself. It's a once in a lifetime type deal where you're going to be able to see it for yourself. So
very cool. Very, very cool. I'm
very
excited.
Cool. On tomorrow's show, I tell you, we have a very interesting show. I've been trying to track this cat down for a couple of weeks, at least. He's a slippery fella, but I'll tell you, I say that in a weird way. He's a slippery fella, but I got him.
I was going to say, you finally got him, huh?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We talk a little bit about, we talk about Satanism. We talk about the here and there, the 2 and 4 of Satanism and what all goes into it. And there's the Hollywood version and then the real version. And then you talk about somebody who's actually sat and trained under Anton LaVey.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we got him. We got a guy tomorrow who we're going to sit down with. Carl Abramson will be our guest tomorrow. His book is Anton LaVey and the Church of Satan, Infernal Wisdom from the Devil's Den.
I think it's amazing. He learned with him. Got the inside scoop.
It includes never-before-published material from LaVey, including transcripts from his never-released Hail Satan video.
Oh, really?
That's what the book has in it. In itself, just a little tease for you. But he provides inside accounts of the Church of Satan and activities at the Black House, personal stories and anecdotes from the very colorful life of the Black Pope. So that we're ending the week with a bang here.
Yeah, you are. I'm going to tune in. I mean, because it's like you said, it's not what people think it is. It's not what it's portrayed in the media. There's a whole side of it people don't know about.
That's right. So we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty tomorrow. That's what we're doing tomorrow on Darkness Radio. So that's what you have to look forward to tomorrow. That's how we're gonna wrap up the week. Had a pretty good week this week, and that's how we're gonna end it. So that'll do it for today. Beer City Bruiser, thank you very much, my friend. Tell people where they can find you over the next few weeks.
They can find me. Well, actually, you know what, Tim? I'm taking the month of April. I only have one date in April because we're packing up everything to get ready for the big move from Wisconsin to North Carolina.
Oh, where are you going to be in April?
I'm just in Green Bay for April 22nd. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Took one date just to continue working, stay in shape. The rest of the time, I'm just doing this with you and packing up the house and checking on my mom. She just had hip surgery, so if everybody could please say a prayer for her.
Yes, absolutely, folks. Yeah. Let's pray for Mrs. Winchester. She had hip surgery recently, and let's send our thoughts and prayers out to her. She's doing well. She's recovering.
She's doing great,
but she needs that little extra push. And where's your mom at? What city?
She's in Arizona. She's in Mesa, Arizona. I'm sorry, Maricopa, Arizona.
Okay.
And she's been out there for years. They love it out there. I don't get why. It's so hot.
It is hot out there in Arizona. But let's keep Mrs. Winchester in our prayers and just say a prayer for speedy healing, speedy recovery, and that all goes smoothly as she recovers from hip surgery. So
yes,
we pray that
other than that,
she does
nothing going on in my life. Just packing up the house to picking up our roots and moving someplace else to put them down.
That's right. And with lots of room.
Lot more room. We're so excited.
Good. Yeah, all's well. That's going well. That's good. So that'll do it for today, folks. We appreciate you again tomorrow. Big show coming up. Carl Abramson will be our guest. Anton LaVey in the Church of Satan, Infernal Wisdom from the Devil's Den. I think it's safe to say parental advisory is suggested for that show. For Beer City Bruiser, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you very much, folks, for tuning in to Supernatural News on a Wednesday. We will see you tomorrow on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.